morning dear students, how are you all? Hope you are fine at your homes and now you have seriously started preparing for your exams, and today we are here with the revision schedule and we will be taking some of the topics for your revision. Before that, I just want to discuss your blueprint and syllabus again. Syllabus you all have got along with your date sheet, and we are starting with the first English paper only, so we need to prepare for that. So what is your syllabus that I have given you is first chapter of reader, that is Who Did Patrick's Homework, then one poem, a house and a home. So this is from your reader section, that is section number D. Then we have your section number C, that is grammar section. In that I have given you sentences and nouns. So whatever exercises we have done in sentences and nouns, we'll be taking some of the sentences so that you can just clear your doubts. What type of sentences and how they can be asked, what type of a question framing can be there. So we'll be taking the same pattern as I have given you in the exams, that is section number C based on grammar. Now coming to section number B, which speaks of writing section, dear children. If you remember, I have not given anything as such in your this discussion of syllabus. If I talk about in the syllabus, it is not mentioned, but let me tell you that writing section is based on the paragraph writing that we have already done sideways when we were taking the chapters. I have asked you to write the paragraphs in your grammar notebooks, but it is not necessary that in this section you will get the same paragraphs that you have done in your grammar notebooks. But it will be generally related to your journal routine or journal topics, like it can be on your aim in life, your hobby, your best friend, your friendship, your views on friendship, or what you want to be, your wish. So all these common general topics I have taken in your exams, and I have given you one paragraph in section B in which you have to write for about 4 marks. So one page of your copy is sufficient, but if you write in a loose manner, then you need to fill the both sides of the page. So it should be about 100 words to 150 words if I talk about for 4 to 5 marks. Okay, coming to section number A, we always have reading comprehension in section A, and our question paper begins with this reading section only. So in this one passage is there, that is obviously unseen passage. It is not from your books, that is Honeysuckle or A Pact with the Sun. It can be any passage from outside, and based on the reading of that passage you will be asked some questions. So it can be like write the synonym of this word from the passage. So you have to find everything from the passage. Each and every answer will be there in the passage if you read it carefully. If the synonyms are asked, if the antonyms are asked, so every word meaning also you will find it there in the passage, along with the one-line answers that have been asked, or maybe 2 marks question can even be there in the passage. So depending upon the length of your question paper. So that is just from outside. You just need to practice for yourself. I will be sending you one worksheet also based on reading comprehension, and then we will be discussing in our next class. But then it is just practice for yourself, and you have to be very careful while reading. So this is what our syllabus is, and a brief discussion on the blueprint. So I will write once again for you. Section A, if we talk about, it is of 5 marks. I have given you one passage in which there will be 5 questions. Coming to your section B, that is your writing section. This is of 4 marks. It includes things like diary entry, dialogue writing, notice writing, message writing, email writing, paragraph writing, letter writing, be it formal or informal. Since we have not done all these things, I have not given you any of the formats of the letter writing or how to write an email. All these things will be taking up in our coming syllabus, but then we have done only the paragraph writing. So a paragraph will be there on any of the topics, and it will be of 4 marks, and you need to just frame your sentences in that. Coming to section C, that is your grammar section, I have already told tenses and nouns. So many exercises we have done in our grammar notebooks and books. So it is also there. So it will be of 5 and 4. It happens to be 9 marks. So I have taken this grammar section of 5 marks. So it comes to 14 marks total. So in that also I have tried to just take almost all the things that we have done. So please don't leave anything. Don't take any risk. Okay, coming to the last section, that is your literature section. So this time I have not given you anything from the supplementary reader, that is a Pact with the Sun, since it is just 20 marks question paper. So your maximum marks will be 20 marks paper. So this is left with 6 marks, in which I can ask you the word meanings that we have done in the notebook, as well as the word meanings that are given in the glossary of your book, and the meaning and the word is being clear to you when we have done the reading and the explanation part. So you are not going to say that we have not done this in the copy or we have not come across this word. So you have to read the chapter very carefully. So that is why when we read the chapter and when the teacher is explaining you something, we always say that please pay attention, underline the difficult words, and it is our duty that we always give you the meanings of those words in simpler terms. And even if any of the word is left out, then you can always consult your dictionary. Just develop a habit of keeping the dictionary with you when you are just reading any chapter, and the pencil in your hand should be there so that you can just keep on underlining all the difficult words that you come across while reading. So it can be any word meaning from the chapter. Then it will have a short answer type question of 2 marks. So I have given you 2 to 3 questions from this first chapter as well as your poem. This time I am not giving you reference to context, because if I take reference to context in the form of this reading comprehension stanza or passage if I talk about, then it should be of at least minimum 3 to 4 marks, and since we have the literature section whole as of 6 marks, so it's not possible for me to include it in the form of reference to context. But I have given you the questions based on that poem only, like we have done a house and a home. So I can ask you, what is a house, what is a home? So this is what you need to write, and this is only the 2 paragraphs that are there in your poem. They describe in 1 paragraph, it is already discussed that what is a house, what is it made up of, what is a home, what is it made up of. So nothing more than that is given. So it can be asked in the question form also. So that is, but you should be prepared in every form, whatever type or framing of the question is. This shows how carefully you have listened to your teacher, how well you have understood the concept. See children, if you just try to understand the concept, then any type of questions can be answered by you. If we talk about 10th class CBSE question papers, then there is a framing of different types of questions. The same questions can be asked you in 10 different forms or even more than that. So it is your duty that you understand the concept and don't cram anything. Then there is no need of cramming anything actually. You just try to understand the chapter, the poem, and then it is very easy for you to write your own answers. If you know the story, you can very well frame your answers. There is not a big deal in that, and you should also develop a habit of doing so, because we are starting preparing you for the 10th class exam from 6th class onwards. 6th class is a big class now, and there is a complete change in the syllabus as well as the pattern. So we have also based your questions papers pattern on the pattern of CBSE 10th board class paper, so that you get into the habit of just coming across the questions, the manner in which they can be asked in the 10th class. So it's a just nice practice for you all also for your 10th class. So this was something about your syllabus and blueprint. After this, I don't think that you will be having any doubt or any problem in this. So that's what I wanted you to just have a glance at, so that you should know what type of question paper will be there, so that it's easy for you to prepare for all the topics that we have done. Since grammar section is, I think, the problematic thing that you face, So I'll be taking the revision of whatever 3 to 4 days we have of grammar topics. 2 topics we need to cover, but in that many subtopics are there, you also know. So I'll be taking, and my focus will be on that because they are just like the concepts that need to be revised again and again. And then literature section you can easily do yourself, so I am not going to take that. Then section B, paragraph writing is there. You also don't know what type of paragraph can be asked, so that is just, you just have to think and frame your own. Then section A also, I have already discussed that any passage can be there and you just need to be present. Your mind should be present in reading the paper, that time only you can attempt that. So no need to take that also. So I will be focusing basically on section C, that is grammar. So first chapter that we have taken in your grammar books, that is tuned into grammar, is sentences. So I will be taking the types of things that we have done, the subtopics. I will be taking 2 to 3 sentences, and the rest of the worksheet or the sentences I will be sending you in the form of PDF file for you to practice. The same can be taken by me in the next video so that we can clear your doubts. So I will be taking the concepts one by one so that we can go through it once again. So let's start with sentences now. Okay. So now see, we'll start with the definition of the sentence or the meaning of the sentence itself, so that it can be also helpful to the children who have missed our previous videos. So let us see some of those sentences first that I have written on the board, and just compare the left hand side sentences with the right hand side sentences, and just notice what you just see here. Rohit school. Sri Lanka is an island. When the grasshopper, where is Nagaland? Now you have read the sentences on the left hand side as well you have read on the right hand side. So what difference can you observe by reading the both types of things that I have written it on the board? Because I am not going to call these as sentences, because we have already done sentences are group of words that have a complete meaning. So whatever we speak that has some meaning in it in our daily life conversation, in our daily life talk, whatever we speak, so that is a sentence, but then it should have a meaning. The meaning should be clear, whatever you speak, so that is a sentence. If I say Rohit school, no doubt I am speaking group of words, but is the meaning clear? Do you get something? What Rohit to school? What? Whether he is going to school, whether he is coming from school. So the meaning is not cleared here. So this means this is not a sentence. It's simply a group of words without conveying any meaningful sense. So we can call it a phrase. But here if we see, Sri Lanka is an island. Now we are just given a complete meaning here that Sri Lanka is what? It's an island. So the meaning of the sentence is clear here, so I'll call it as a sentence. So I hope you have understood the difference between a phrase and a sentence. Then, when the grasshopper. Now read this group of words. Do they convey any meaning to you? Do you get something by reading these group of words? When the grasshopper. When what the grasshopper? What did it do? Did it bite you? Did it sit on your shoulder? What is it doing? We are not sure of it. When the grasshopper what? So it's not a sentence since the meaning is not clear. As compared to it, where is Nagaland? So the meaning is clear from the sentence, though it is an interrogative sentence, which means we are asking for extra information that we want to know about Nagaland. That where is Nagaland? We are asking someone about the place where is it. So we are to do the types of sentences in which the meaning will be more clear, since a sentence can be positive sentence, it can be negative sentence, then it can be exclamatory sentence in which you express your strong feelings of joy, fear, anger, surprise. So all these are known as exclamatory sentences. We have already done, and they always end with the exclamation mark. So a sentence can end with either a full stop or a question mark or an exclamation mark. So this is the important punctuations that we use in sentences. We use full stop for imperative sentences as well as for assertive or declarative sentences. We use sign of exclamation for exclamatory sentences, and we use question mark for our interrogative sentences. So a sentence can be interrogative, it can be exclamatory, it can be imperative, in which you show your request, you show your order, command, advice, suggestion. So all these are your imperative sentences. Then if you want to ask any information, we have interrogative sentence, or you simply want to state any fact, or simply you want to say something, then that is fact is your assertive sentence, which we also call as declarative sentences. And if we add Sri Lanka is not an island. If I write this sentence using not after my helping verb, then the same positive sentence becomes here negative sentence. So this is my negative sentence. So a sentence can convey a positive meaning as well as a sentence can convey a negative meaning. So we have done what is sentence, what type of punctuations we use for sentences, and a sentence always begins with a capital letter. You should always remember, children, when I sometimes check your copy, I find that some of the children, they use small letters in the beginning of the sentence like this. So this is not to be followed, it's wrong. We always start our sentences with capital letters like this. So two things you need to keep into your mind always. A sentence always begins with a capital letter and it always ends with a punctuation mark depending upon the sentence, the type of sentence it is given. So this is the basic thing that you need to know about sentence. Now let us quickly recall the types of sentences. Okay, so let us see some of the types of sentences that we have done. Assertive sentence, as I have told you, simple, just stating of a fact or a statement you can say. Like simple sentence I take, I am a girl. So this is a simple information that you are giving, that you are a girl, you are a boy, I am a boy, I am a girl, I write with my pen, I write with my pencil, I have my English notebook today, I have brought my English notebook today. So this is what a simple information that we convey, that is assertive sentence with a positive meaning. I do not have my English notebook today in my bag, or I have not brought my English notebook today. So the same sentence start conveying the negative meaning if you add a not. So that is your negative sentence. Interrogative sentence already discussed. What is your name? So when you want to ask any information. So we use interrogative sentences. It always begins with this WH family that we have discussed. What, where, how, when, why. So this is known as WH family. So always ends with a question mark. Next we have imperative sentences. Imperative sentences already discussed that they are the sentences in which we either do any request, we command, give commands or orders, we advise someone or we suggest someone. For example, if I have to request someone to bring for me a glass of water, how will I say? Please bring a glass of water for me. So this way you will use please for request, and you are requesting someone here to bring you a glass of water. If you want to give an order, go out, shut the door, come here. So these are your orders. So they also take a full stop at the end. And these type of sentences in which we give advice, request, command or order someone are known as imperative sentences. Then you have your exclamatory sentences, and children, we always request you to use the words like please, thank you, sorry. So these are what? Imperative sentences. Do you use such type of words in your daily use? Yes, it's a very good habit. Okay, you should always thank someone. If someone is doing any of your work, you should always thank. And if you want to ask someone to bring you something, then you should always say please. You should request the person in a polite way. Do we do that in our daily routine? Yes. Okay. Coming to exclamatory sentences now. Exclamatory sentences, as I told, they are the sentences in which you express your certain feelings that come into your mind. For example, if you are very happy, you happen to win any match, there is some competition going on between your team and your friend's team, maybe, or between inter-school competition can be there, inter-class competitions can be there, as we have in your schools, then inter-section competition can be even organized by your school. So, if you win any of the competitions, what do we first say? Hurrah! I have won the match. Doesn't we use this word, hurrah? And it always ends with a sign of exclamation. So these are the certain feelings, the words that we use to express certain feelings, like hurrah, alas, when you are very, very sad. We use this word basically when there is someone's death. Alas, he is no more. Alas, the poet is no more. The poet is dead. So when we are very sad, so we use this type of words. Then, ouch. Do we use these words in our daily life? When you are hurt, ouch. Do we do that? Yes. So these are what your sudden feelings, the first word that comes from your mouth. So these are some of the words that we use to express our feelings, and that is why they are known as exclamatory sentences, and they also follow these words with a sign of exclamation, and at the end of the sentence they have a full stop. Or if it is an exclamatory sentence, you can also find sentences like this beginning with the WH family. What a beautiful dress. So in this sentence, if you can see, we have used WH family instead of these words, and that is why you have used this sign of exclamation at the end of the sentence. So it is either way, either you use these words or you begin your sentence with WH family, but in this sentence also you will see that there is an expression of strong feeling. What a beautiful dress! You are fascinated by the beautiful dress that you have seen or you are wearing. So these are the types of sentences that we use in our daily lives. Number 1, simple assertive sentence or declarative. Number 2, interrogative. Number 3, imperative. And lastly, the exclamatory sentence. Apart from that, we have done 2 types in which a sentence can convey a positive meaning and a sentence can convey a negative meaning. So depending upon that, it is either a positive sentence or a negative sentence. So there are some rules how you can transform these sentences from either assertive to negative, negative to assertive, or from simple to interrogative, or again interrogative to simple assertive sentence. So that we'll be discussing in our next video. So thanks for watching. Just go through the rules once again from your books, and I'll give you one worksheet based on the video that we have discussed, and in our next video we'll be taking that exercise also. So thanks for watching. Stay safe, stay home.